Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and like my videos because today we are diving into one of the most dramatic stories shaking the world. The Ukrainian robotic strike on Russia's $1 billion Ostankino Tower in Moscow. This was not just any building, it's the tallest structure in Europe, a national symbol and the very heartbeat of Russian broadcasting. And when news broke that Ukrainian unmanned robotics managed to hit it, the reaction was a mix of shock, outrage, and disbelief. What exactly happened? Why is this such a big mistake? And what does it tell us about the future of warfare? Let's break it down like we do, layer by layer, as if we are reviewing a machine, with its exterior, interior, performance, safety, selling points, price, and finally the conclusion. From the outside, the Ostankino Tower has always been a symbol of Soviet pride. Built in the late 1960s, it towers at more than 500 meters, dwarfing almost every other structure in Moscow. It was built as a broadcasting hub to connect the Soviet Union's massive communication networks. But in Russian culture, it has taken on an even larger role, standing tall as a reminder of past glory. Its exterior is sleek but functional, built with reinforced concrete, designed to withstand fire, weather, and decades of wear. To the casual eye, it's just a tower, but for Russians, its exterior is a badge of national pride. And that's why, when Ukraine's robotic strike targeted this building, the symbolic shock went far beyond physical damage. Inside, the tower houses multiple broadcasting and communication facilities. The interior isn't glamorous, it's practical, filled with transmitters, antennas, maintenance shafts, and power equipment. The very heart of Russia's television and radio infrastructure sits inside its walls. Some areas are restricted, designed with tight access and security, because if you control what's inside the Ostankino Tower, you control much of Russia's media narrative. That short interior breakdown is key because it explains why the attack wasn't just on a piece of concrete. It was a strike at the information backbone of Russia. Performance-wise, let's talk about what the Ukrainian robotics did. These weren't ordinary drones. Reports suggest they were long-range, possibly AI-assisted strike drones designed to navigate air defenses, evade jamming, and reach one of the most heavily defended cities in the world, Moscow. Their performance is where the world really raised eyebrows. Flying hundreds of kilometers undetected or only partially intercepted, they managed to slam into the tower with enough force to damage it and disrupt parts of its operation. For Ukraine, this was proof of concept that robotic warfare can hit the heart of Russia. For Russia, it was a humiliation because their billion-dollar air defense systems couldn't stop a machine from reaching the capital. But let's think about safety features, not in the tower, but in the drones themselves. Ukrainian robotic weapons are being designed with redundancies, satellite guidance, terrain, mapping, and sometimes one-way programmed missions. These safety layers mean that even if one system is jammed, another takes over. If GPS is denied, inertial navigation kicks in. If one communication channel is blocked, backup systems keep them flying. This resilience is why Russia's supposed electronic warfare supremacy has failed repeatedly. Ironically, the Ostankino Tower, which symbolizes control of information and communication, became a victim of machines that outsmarted communication defenses. Unique selling points of this strike. First, psychological warfare. For years, Russians believed Moscow was untouchable. Ukraine just proved otherwise. Second, technological message. Kiev showed the world it doesn't need nuclear weapons or massive armies to shake Russia. It just needs small, intelligent, and cheap robotic systems that outmaneuver billion-dollar defenses. Third, propaganda value. Every strike on a symbolic structure chips away at Russia's narrative of control. The Ostankino Tower, a national TV hub, being struck by Ukraine, is like hitting the nerve center of Russia's propaganda machine. When we talk about price, here is where the contrast is staggering. The Ostankino Tower is valued at $1 billion. It's not just concrete, it's the sum of broadcasting infrastructure, antennas, emergency systems, and the prestige of maintaining the tallest structure in Europe. On the other hand, Ukraine's robotic drones likely cost between $50 and $200 per unit. A weapon that costs less than a luxury car managed to damage a building worth over $1 billion and humiliate the world's largest country. This imbalance is what military strategists call an asymmetric advantage. Ukraine is buying victory at bargain prices, while Russia is bleeding resources trying to defend against swarms of cheap, intelligent machines. And now we come to the conclusion: was this a bold move or a big mistake? For Ukraine, it showed strength, resilience, and innovation. But here's the danger: by hitting a symbolic, civilian-linked structure, Kyiv risks escalating Russian retaliation. Moscow has already threatened massive responses, and with the tower damaged, Russian anger is running high. It could unify Russian citizens who otherwise doubt the war. This is the double-edged sword. Yes, Ukraine showed the world it can strike anywhere, but in targeting such a visible piece of Russian pride, it may have given Putin new fuel to justify harsher actions. Yet, the underlying truth is clear. Warfare has entered a robotic age where cheap, small, and intelligent machines can defeat expensive, lumbering defenses. A $100,000 drone versus a $1 billion tower shows that the balance of power isn't in size or cost anymore, it's in adaptability and technology. Ukraine has rewritten the rulebook, and Russia, for all its resources, is struggling to keep up. The exterior may look strong, the interior may seem protected, the performance of Russia's defenses may appear impressive, and the safety systems of the tower may feel reliable. But in reality, one strike exposed the vulnerabilities of an entire empire. So, what we're left with is a lesson: symbols can be attacked, pride can be shaken, and the future belongs to whoever adapts faster. Whether this was Ukraine's boldest success or its most dangerous mistake will depend on what Russia does next. But one thing is certain: the world will never look at the Moscow skyline the same way again.